Hello, and welcome to Catholicism in the Car. My name is Parker Zerbal. Today I want to talk about the Catholic underpinnings for certain aspects of morality. Now, I do think that no matter what philosophical stance you take, whether it be theism, atheism, or agnosticism, that all people can agree on the vast majority of points of morality. Being atheist or agnostic or theist does not therefore determine necessarily what one needs to believe morally. Now, that might be an interesting claim to some people because many people associate morality with religion. But that's an association that happens only because of our modern context. I mean, not necessarily our modern context. This could happen in other contexts too. But it happens because of the cultural context within which a person is. Okay, so if one grows up in a Muslim culture and one begins to deny their Muslim faith in return for atheism or agnosticism, that person will generally, sociologically, have more of a vehement reaction against those points of morality that seem to be particularly held by Islam. Those would be things especially like Islam's emphasis on chastity and what would you say, modesty in dress. Okay, someone may vehemently react against things like that, shirking off the hijab for a bikini or something. But those two things, don't follow from one another. It doesn't follow that as soon as you become an atheist, it means that you must dress in a scantily clad fashion. Okay. It also does not follow in a Christian culture that say when one becomes an atheist or an agnostic, maybe coming from a Christian context, because that is generally how this happens in our culture. Although it is becoming more and more common for people to be brought up in atheist or agnostic households. But at least for my generation, and especially for previous generations to mine, it was vastly more common to grow up in a Christian household and then turn away from that faith towards some other faith, and that has generally become atheism or agnosticism. So basically, I'm trying to make the plea that, and I want to direct this particularly at those in my own culture, that changing your status on theism, or going the other way, changing your status on atheism, does not necessarily entail a change of morality. Now, if one has grown up in a theistic context, changed to an atheistic context, and gone with what is classically, well, not classically, but gone with what is generally considered an atheistic or agnostic morality, kind of a free sexual living, much emphasis upon bodily pleasure and individualism, things of that nature. I'm not saying selfishness necessarily, although that often does happen, because as soon as someone shirks off the yoke of religion, for some reason in our culture they think it's also okay to shirk off the yoke of morality, or traditional morality. But there have been plenty of atheists throughout the history of humankind who maintained classical morality without maintaining, let's say, classical theism. I want to take a particular example here, which is most appropriate for our current time and culture, and that is the controversial issue of contraception. Now, I'm getting at the issue of contraception as opposed to abortion or other sexual matters such as homosexuality, transgenderism, what have you. I'm getting at contraception because it actually is the least disputed aspect of sexuality within our culture, between religious people and non-religious people. And it is least disputed because virtually everyone believes contraception is okay. Now, I'm gonna argue the minority opinion that contraception is immoral, and I'm going to argue that from a natural standpoint, a standpoint upon which someone of any creed or a creed, meaning no creed, can get on board with. Now, I do understand, virtually Catholics are the only ones that have held the hard line on this, as far as I know. Really, every other religion and every other Christian denomination has acquiesced to allowing for contraception in practice and in teaching, for that matter. Okay, so I think we're going to have to pick up on this where we leave off later today, talking about an argument for contraception, or an argument against contraception from a natural sense.